Good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Michelle Beck. Investigators are still on the scene of that deadly mass shooting and fire this morning at a Michigan church. Late last night, authorities confirmed that some people still have not been found, and there's an active search to find them right now. We know at least 4 people are dead. 8 others are hurt in the attack. Jay Gray is outside the church with the latest.
Well, as the investigation intensifies now, it is the FBI taking the lead, investigating what they call a targeted attack. The suspect, a decorated Iraqi war veteran with no known criminal record, and to this point, investigators say no clear motive for carrying out the killing spree.
Overnight, federal agents, police, and firefighters continuing to work the scene. Investigators searching the suspect's home, as a stunned community also searches for answers.
We have also witnessed the result of wicked rule in our county, state, and nation.
Flames and a spray of gunfire ripping through a Sunday service at a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan.
We heard a big bang and it blew the doors in the church, and then everything after that was chaos.
Chaos, leaving at least 4 dead, 8 injured. Carried out, police say, by this man, 40-year-old ex-Marine Thomas Jacob Sanford.
He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church.
Also, allegedly setting fire to the sanctuary, worshipers instantly shifting to heroes as the killing spree unfolds.
They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith. Just extreme courage.
The horrific attack ending as police rush in, fatally shooting the suspect in the church parking lot.
Now, we continue to see a steady stream of federal agents as well as state and local police moving through the barricades back to the crime scene. Police say there are still as many as 7 church members unaccounted for. Teams have been sifting through the charred rubble here really nonstop since the attack. That's the latest from here in Grand Blanc. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.
Now, along with the tragedy in Michigan, at least 3 other mass shootings were reported across the country since Friday. New Orleans police are searching for 4 people this morning in connection with the shooting Friday in the French Quarter that killed 1 woman and injured 3 others. And Saturday night in Southport, North Carolina, 3 people died and 5 others were hurt at a waterfront bar shooting. The alleged shooter is in jail this morning. And early yesterday, a mass shooting at the Lucky Eagle Casino in Eagle Pass, Texas. 2 people were killed and several others hurt. The suspect was caught 200 miles away. A look from our nation's capital this morning, where there are just 2 full days before the government shuts down. Today, President Trump and the top 4 congressional leaders will meet to try and hash things out. And this comes after the president abruptly canceled a meeting with only Democratic leaders last week. At that time, the president called Democrats' demands ridiculous. Democrats are pushing for more money for health care. NBC's Alice Barr has details from Washington.
Hi there. The shutdown countdown clock is ticking loudly on Capitol Hill, with leaders in both parties who've been pointing the finger at each other now looking to get on the same page in a last-ditch meeting today. A critical meeting today in the race to prevent a government shutdown tomorrow night at midnight. President Trump sitting down with the top 4 congressional leaders in both parties as Democrats press to negotiate for their support.
You don't do this by one party putting together a completely partisan bill and saying take it or leave it.
House Republicans already passed a short-term spending bill, but it needs votes from Democrats to succeed in the Senate.
What the Democrats have done here is take the federal government as a hostage.
Democrats pointing the finger at Republicans and holding out to reverse health care cuts and extend subsidies set to expire at the end of the year.
Americans should not see their health care suffer, their premiums spike, and people lose insurance and providers close.
Adding to the stakes, the White House alerting federal agencies that mass layoffs are coming in addition to the typical furloughs if the government does shut down. President Trump saying in an interview with NBC News, quote, "We are going to cut a lot of the people," and that it would be on a permanent basis, though he said he would rather not. Democrats calling it a scare tactic.
They're doing it anyway. There's no shutdown. They're laying off all these people.
It's a burden that can easily be avoided if the Democrats will just apply common sense and do the right thing.
All as federal workers wait to see if they'll be paid and if services are disrupted for the American people. If there is a shutdown, more than 2 million federal workers could see their paychecks stop. National parks would be forced to turn visitors away, and essential workers like air traffic controllers and TSA agents would be ordered to work without pay. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Also in D.C. today, President Trump is expected to sit down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The meeting comes as the president is pushing for Netanyahu to agree to a 21-point peace plan to end the war in Gaza. According to the White House, the plan calls for Hamas to release all remaining hostages within 48 hours of an agreement and sets out a post-war roadmap for Gaza. Okay, Lynx fans, how are we feeling this morning? In case you missed it, the #1 seed fell to the Mercury last night, ending their memorable season and playoffs run. The loss made even harder this morning due to injury and a drama-filled suspension. Audrey Russo is outside Target Center following the tough moments for the team.
Yeah, certainly a tough loss for the Lynx and for the fans. If you look on social media this morning, the fans are all saying the same thing. This was supposed to be the Lynx's year. They were supposed to come back to Target Center and seal the deal in Game 5, but unfortunately it took one weekend for those dreams to unravel. So let's talk about what happened. Game 4, really an uphill battle without the Lynx's injured star, Napheesa Collier. Now, the team posted on X, though, the massive uptick in Google searches for Kayla McBride, who brought in 31 points. It wasn't enough, though, to force the Mercury to a Game 5. Now, Game 4 was the season ender on paper, but Game 3's drama was the nail in the coffin. Head coach Cheryl Reeve was ejected and suspended for her anger with the refs, prompted by Collier's sidelining injury. Now, fans we spoke to after last night's game say they want to see officiating in the league change.
It seems it's all over the place. It's so inconsistent. I mean, yeah, it would just be great to see some shifts with that, I think.
I think supporting the WNBA in general means supporting the refs, making sure that they have the resources they need, the funds that they need.
Well, and keeping the players safe.
Now, Collier's injured ankle didn't show a fracture according to the team when it was first evaluated, but now they've got to do some further testing just to see where her recovery goes from here on out. Unfortunately for the Lynx, she's going to have a long postseason now to recover. She's not up against that time crunch of a Game 5. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Audrey. Well, you got to check your fridge this morning. Hillshire Farms is recalling 58 million pounds of their corn dog and sausage on a stick products because there could be wood in the batter. Here's what some of those affected products look like. There are 25 different products impacted, mostly from name brands like State Fair and Jimmy Dean. They were sold nationwide at stores like Walmart and Target. So check the box if there is an establishment number, EST, that's 582 or P894. Throw out the box if you see those numbers. In this morning's Communities That Care, we're highlighting Avivo Village, expanding their reach to help people find permanent housing after living on the streets. Avivo broke ground in St. Cloud last week, and Gordon Severson was there for it.
Thank you for joining us.
You may think that homelessness is just a big city problem. That's not the case in St. Cloud, where city leaders believe it's a big enough problem in their community to warrant a new 48-unit complex.
We know that there are over 300 people sleeping outside in this community, and that's not acceptable to any of us.
Avivo CEO Kelly Matter says the concept is modeled after their Avivo Village in Minneapolis. They want to bring that big city idea to central Minnesota.
We've been operational since December of 2020 in the metro, and initially the average length of stay was around 90 to 100 days before people were able to move to permanent housing.
To build this facility, Avivo received $7.6 million from the state and $1.1 million from the city of St. Cloud.
I'm excited for what this brings.
St. Cloud Mayor Jake Anderson says he voted against this specific location for the facility. The city council had the votes to approve it. However, Anderson says he did approve the funding to pay for the building because he feels it's the right thing to do and a good investment for the community.
I think it's $1 spent today to save $5 tomorrow. And I think it is right for folks to question how effective programs are, and I think it's on elected officials to monitor the effectiveness.
High hopes and big dreams for what is now an open lot. But every dream starts with a simple beginning. In this case, a few shovels of dirt.
2, 1.
Stick with us. More news and weather are coming up after the break.